welcome to the reunion of Home Alone. We have all 10 contestants here, from the last one voted out to the person who won. It has been 8 weeks since we filmed. Everybody has now seen the episodes, seen all the confessionals, and what everybody was saying behind your back. Now we will discuss and reflect on your time on the show. But first of all, we have our winner, Caitlin, $250. Started with 10 people, now it is just her. Caitlin, how does it feel to win?
It definitely feels good, and I don't regret anything I've done. Thanks.
So, it wasn't all shown in the finale, but 3 votes went to Amir. Raise your hand if you voted for Amir. Okay. No.
What? Oh.
Yes, there we go. Those are the 3 votes. Jordan, Kale, and Miguel voted for Amir. Amir, I understand you're a little butthurt that you did not win.
A little bit.
Why is that?
I mean, I just don't know if jury is the most fair way to handle the final 2. I think a much better representation of the winner would have been chosen by the public, the people watching at home every week that have seen the confessionals, that have seen all the background action. And that would have been a much better way to choose the winner.
Okay, and one of the people that thought you should have won was Miguel. I'm sure that was a hard choice since you got voted off on the first day. Yeah. So there's always going to be someone that gets voted off first, and unfortunately that was you, Miguel.
Yep.
And I think you're a little upset about the way you went, why you got chosen.
I just don't feel like it was fair to me, because obviously it wasn't based on my ability. It wasn't based on anything but things I can't control, basically. I'm not going to dive deep into that. But yeah, I feel like I definitely could have at least made it farther than some people sitting here. But yeah.
So when I was first contacting people to be on the show, asking if you wanted to do it, one of Amir's first questions was, hey Gavin, are there any f***ing weirdos? Now that you've met everybody, played with them, were there any f***ing weirdos on the show?
I'm very happy with the cast. I'm very happy.
Actually, in the finale you said, I've never talked to Ryan in my f***ing life, swear to God. So now is your chance to formally introduce yourself to Ryan.
Hey, my name is Amir.
I'm Ryan.
There you go.
Beautiful.
And Ryan, I think one of the highlights of the show was when you got voted off and you gave your speech about how much you hated Olivia and how much you loved Caitlin. Now that you've seen the whole show, have your thoughts changed on those two at all?
No, not really. You know, when I got voted off, I blamed it primarily on Olivia. I thought that she was just trying to manipulate Caitlin and, you know, bring her down in such a disgraceful way. And I saw that because that's exactly how I feel like I was treated. So when, you know, truth came to be, Caitlin wins the show, I felt as though she deserved it. She deserved that win because she really didn't have anything coming into the show. It's not like Olivia, who decides to scramble for alliances the first chance she ever gets before we even meet each other. Let's just say that. And, you know, she rushed into things. We have a swan, we have an ugly duckling. What more do you want me to say, honestly?
Thank you, Ryan.
I just don't really understand why Ryan paints me as the ugly. I mean, I would never play victim. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't scrambling since day -5 for alliances in this game. I personally would never change anything that I ever do in life, especially for a man. You've made so many comments about how I am nothing, I blah, 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 Caitlin is everything. And yes, she won. She's $250 richer, and obviously that means she played a better game than me. She won. But one of us is sitting on the couch, and one of us is sitting on the separated chairs behind the couch.
Okay.
And
are we really bringing that, like, that matters right
no,
now?
I mean, I love
like, the fact is
the
both
end.
of us
You're
lost.
sitting right in the
Most
middle.
of-
You put yourself in the middle of everything for no reason.
First of all, I was sat here by Gavin based on the fact that I lost in the position that I lost. You can't come to me and be like, I'm the center of it.
So, yes, Ryan talked about how much he hated Olivia, but he also talked about how much he liked Caitlin, how he wanted her to win. I think 3 people, when they got voted off, said they wanted to see Caitlin go and win it. And in the balloon challenge, Caitlin was voted the nicest, and I want to let you know that isn't just her personality for the show, that is how she actually is. In the final 3, I delivered donuts, which was my plan. I was going to buy donuts for the final 3, and then Caitlin showed up with 2 dozen donuts. She's in the credits of every episode as the caterer because she brings food every day. Also, yeah. Round of applause for food. Also, after winning the $250, she Venmo'd it back to me and said that I could keep it. So, yeah, I gave it back to her. I didn't accept it, but she tried to. So, she is the nicest. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Really got me blushing here.
Another vote that I did not read out in the balloon challenge was, who do you think is going home next? And the person who won that question was Kale, and Kale got voted off next. And Kale, I think you're not too happy with the way that you went.
Oh no, not at all, not at all.
Why is that?
Gavin. Oh well, you see, you think you do something great for these 2 guys. You split the votes, make it a 2-2-3 vote. You have Jordan, Olivia, Caitlin, and Rachel all voting for Nick and Amir, and Nick was probably going home at 7. Even Olivia wanted him home. She even told me she wanted Nick before Amir because Amir's a bigger target. So I split the votes. We all come in arrangement to vote for Rachel, and Rachel goes home. And I thought it'd be a 3-3 vote next, but Nick does good with the girls, pretty much making a girl pretty much win the game in a way, screwing me and Amir and Nick. And Amir, you ready? Yeah.
Oh?
Ooh, take it off, yo.
It's just a hashtag we've been doing. Why Nick? Nothing. I love the guy, but just bad gameplay, I think, on my part. Why Nick's in the chat?
Actually, on your part, that is correct.
Calm down. And that's all I got to say with that. I might talk about it more later, but yeah, it's a tough scene.
Okay.
We messed it up, boys.
It's okay. They got the point.
So Kale did have a lot of fans from the audience going into this because he had a lot of strategy and that sort of thing. And after he got voted off, it seemed like all of the Kale fans started putting hashtag #WhyNick in the comments. Nick, how do you feel about all of the Nick hate?
I mean, it's expected. I mean, I knew it was going to happen. I don't know if I mentioned in game or if it was on camera, but I told someone, I don't know who, but I was like, I just want to see what happens, like with the show, how everyone feels. But why Nick? You could hear in the show, Kale had, he even said he had 2 alliances, him, Amir, me, and someone else. But then it was him, Amir, and 2 other people. I don't remember who. But that right there just shows you that I was always on the lesser end of that too. And in that situation, like, I can't trust it. If I've already seen what Kale can do in the game, I mean,
It just saved you from getting evicted.
and then also have more alliances without me. But I mean,
You had alliances without us, but it's fine. I mean,
no, we do, but so it happens.
there you go. It happens. That's what happens.
That's
It's a game, and we had a final 3 together
And when it
from
comes
day
down
one.
to it, I can turn on you, and Amir turned on me. So I mean, it's
No,
it can
no,
only
I'll
no,
never
no,
stay with
yeah,
you.
let's-
I'm the
yeah.
only
Turn
one
to
that
me,
out
vote
of both
again,
of
have
you, I'm the
spite.
only one that had just that alliance.
Mhm.
Nick had a different one. Kale had a different one. I was with the boys since day one,
Mhm.
without talking to anybody else. No problem.
So you switching on us is probably like where it really became a whole new game for Amir, because you pretty
Oh,
much
absolutely.
screwed me, Amir, and your game
That's
right
false.
there.
I did not screw Amir in any way, shape, or form. I screwed you, and I'll admit that. Like, I mean, I got shredded, obviously.
Well,
But
I
when
mean,
it
I
comes
was
down
part
to
of the
Amir,
alliance.
I trusted Amir. I trusted each of you alone, but together I didn't trust you. And you're the obviously bigger threat than Amir at that moment in my mind. So I vote you out, and then I'm hoping Amir won't vote me out just purely because I got you out. I'm hoping he would respect it as a gameplay move and move forward, knowing that I have his best intention. And then I did pop his balloon, and that was a dumb move. I don't know what the I was thinking in that moment. So I can't say anything for that, but dumb move on my part. But when it came down to it, I would have trusted Amir to work with me further down the line, and I can't really say anything because he did make it final 2. Like, I can't say it would have bettered his game to not vote me out, but I
Kale.
think he would have gone for like just as far.
So Kale, if Nick wouldn't have voted you out, would you have actually brought him
Yes,
to final
I
3?
mean, final 3 us, and then they were probably voting me off if I don't win immunity. So I pretty much had to win a final 3, which I'm fine with.
I think it's, at that point, it's just whoever wins.
And I think if we talked about it, Nick probably, if he goes with us final 3, he has a 100% chance of final 2 because Amir's bringing Nick, I'm probably bringing Nick, and Nick is bringing himself. So that's what I think was really the big disappointment in that.
Yes, Caitlin. Nick's
I know.
final 2
Yeah,
alliance.
I know we're not supposed to interrupt, but this whole entire thing since Kale got voted off has been oh man, we would have been final 3 if you just wouldn't have done that. But you're underestimating Jordan, Olivia, and me, considering all the women are sitting on the couch right now that got to this point.
No,
it wasn't a given had Kale
We had
not
the
got
numbers.
voted
The
out.
given was that we had the numbers.
Okay,
It's a
I
simple
would
As a mayor,
also
it's a
like
simple
It's a
game.
simple game.
I
It's a
would like
numbers
to
game.
add
It's
to
a
what
numbers game.
Caitlin said though, is y'all talk about the solidarity of the final 3 and stuff like that, but that night when Rachel went home, it was 3 girls versus 3 boys, and us 3 girls were very concerned. We were like, okay, we obviously are gonna stick together, and we did. So I don't think it's kind of a moot point to hash out what would have happened, because if one of us would have flipped on y'all, it would be hashtag why Caitlin, why Olivia, why Jordan. So
I give props to all 3 of you girls for flipping there.
Yeah.
Thank
Making
you,
the
baby.
best
That
move
was
for
the best
y'all.
play for y'all.
Thank
Yeah, I
you,
remember.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So, Julia, what happened to your gymnastic skills in episode 1?
Oh.
I think that was more to do with production than the gymnastic skills.
Oh.
I agree. That was a challenge.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I
we'll
was-
get back to that later.
Yeah.
Production budget will go up for season 2, so stay tuned.
Julia, you got voted out because of a twist where Team Apex gave immunity to Ryan. His vote was for you. You went home. If Apex wouldn't have given immunity to Ryan, how do you think the game would have been different with you still in?
It's definitely hard to say. The second I got voted out, the what ifs just started, you know. I'm not mad about how it happened. I really don't know what would have happened if I would have stayed in. I just keep thinking to myself, because I knew Ryan was writing my name down, I knew he was going to vote for me, because Olivia had told me. There's some stuff that wasn't put into the episode, but I knew that Ryan was going to vote for me, and then we like sat down and sort of fake talked, you know? And in my head, the second it happened, I was like, why did I not just tell him? And I keep thinking, what would have happened if we would have voted Olivia out? If Ryan and I would have gotten Caitlin and voted Olivia out, that would have completely changed it, but it's the what ifs, so I'm okay.
So, another person that was voted out by just 1 vote was Olivia. And you looked a little emotional after you got voted off. So, how did you feel getting so close in Final 3 and then leaving the game?
Bad. Yeah, I usually have a lot of words.
Yeah.
I literally can't say any other words other than just like, yeah, it was bad.
Where do you think you went wrong?
When I pulled out my stupid phone and started showing Caitlin everything I had written about how I would beat her, I don't know why I did that. I think that's the one bad move I made in this game. Every single thing I've done in this game, I would have done 10 times again, other than that one single thing. Because I don't know if that would have swayed her necessarily to take Emir or get Emir out, but it would have been less like, less clear to her that I would have beat her.
Kaylin, was it the notes?
Well, I said when I was applying for this show that I wanted to be the one that got Olivia out, and I'm happy that I did.
When she applied?
Yes.
In the application?
On the notes, I did comment on the Word document that I will stir the pot in this game, and I want to dethrone Olivia verbatim.
Wow.
And I'm happy
I
that
think
I
it's
was.
such a great compliment.
Yeah, it really
is.
was, because
Yeah,
I know that
I know.
she was such a big threat. So I think that the notes definitely helped, but comparing Amir to Olivia was an easy choice. But who would have voted for Olivia over me?
Okay, if it was Olivia and Caitlin, final 2, who would have voted for Olivia to win?
Vibes.
All right.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Caitlin would have won either way.
Can you do it for the
Amir and
too?
Olivia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If
I'd
it
say
was
no, boys.
if it was Olivia and Amir, who would have voted for Olivia? Plus
Women and
Rachel, probably.
Plus
right?
Rachel. Yeah, Rachel would have
Rachel
been.
went
Yeah.
Olivia.
Both
Wait,
ways.
yeah. So
Which-
we're gonna tie.
Damn, Amir, you were
The women
doomed
in
from the
Kale.
start.
Which, by the way, I forgot to mention. I said earlier all 10 contestants were here because I rehearsed that speech. They are not. Rachel is not here, but she has an excuse this time. She wasn't able to make it to the final jury because she wanted to go have dinner with friends, and there was no real excuse there. But tonight there is a valid one, so don't get mad at her. She wanted to be here. So, the final 3 all cared very much about wanting to win, I think. Didn't seem that way when Jordan got voted off. There was a lot of laughing in that shed and singing once she got voted off. Can you please tell me why that happened?
I feel like once I had that conversation with Olivia outside and I told her like hey, like, vote me off. Because I do think that Olivia probably, because of her loyalty to me, probably would have voted for Caitlyn to draw rocks. In which I just think that is stupid, and I think that would have been selfish on my part, because I think that I went home because I lost the immunity challenge. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to hold Olivia accountable for that if she were to be the one to go home. And if there was someone that I wanted to win besides myself, it was Olivia. So and at the end of the day, our friendship will always come before this game. And so I guess once we got to the shed, I was kind of like, well, if I'm gonna go home, like, might as well make it a party. I honestly was laughing because it was so hard to be like, oh god, like, it was hard for me.
It was that chicken. And
It was hard for me to sit there and like not laugh. I don't know. Sometimes you just have to laugh at things.
And it did. People can say what they want, that the show was filmed in a week, so maybe a lot of the emotions are fake. But I think the emotions here were real. We filmed for like 8 hours a day for 4 days, 9 hours a day sometimes. So it's still a lot of time to get to know each other and form real emotions. Did anybody here like actually feel upset when they got voted off? Genuinely sad?
I cried.
It's definitely a bummer. Like, it's definitely
Yeah.
a bummer. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was very upset, but like, it wasn't something that I was grateful to make Final Four, and I don't know. I had a really good experience. I don't think there was anything for me to be upset about.
Ryan, you did not raise your hand. You were not upset when you got voted off?
No, I'm tearing up right now, but that's just like allergies and junk. You got a dusty house. I'm kidding, I love you, mwah. But me, I kind of just like realized when that tie happened, like, I was gone. Like, there was no way Caitlyn was gonna trust me at that point, and Olivia. And so I sort of felt like, you know, like, it was bound to happen. So I just took my L, walked out with grace, and when I got home, I was just like content with how far I came, because now we're thriving.
Okay, so now are some things that I've noticed from going back and editing the show and watching them every week. Construction crews suck. At one point while we were filming, there was literally a construction crew on one side of my house and another construction crew on the other side of my house, and then people mowing the lawn across the street, and we were right in the middle trying to film a challenge or confessionals. So round of applause to construction. Yeah.
What?
Another thing I noticed was around episode 5, everyone started using a certain lingo. They started using the word f***ing to be synonymous with backstabbing or getting someone voted out. There was a lot of, Kale just f***ed both of us. We have to f*** Nick. Did you all plan that? How did that happen? Because I hate it so much.
It definitely. I think. Okay. After the Rachel vote, I was sitting on the couch and I repeatedly said the word. And I was. I don't know if you guys remember that, but my grandma did comment on it. But I think it was just the passion of everything. Because after episode 5 is when shit kind of got real. So I feel like was just so much more. It was a better term, I would say. I think it fit better than backstabbing. Backstabbing felt like child's play.
Amir used it a lot too. He'd be like, "Oh, he's."
I don't. I don't curse. I don't
Get out
curse.
of it.
I don't curse.
Do you not?
No.
Check the finale.
Everything was bleeped out. You don't know what I'm saying. You don't know what I'm saying. I'm not
Did
saying
you or
that
did
word.
you not call me a
Another thing I noticed a lot with the challenges was cheating. There was a lot of cheating. First episode was a cluster. Both teams were cheating a lot. Rachel did not have her shoes on all the way when they won the challenge, and she's not here to defend herself. But I did ask her. This wasn't included in the episode, but her shoes were only half on, and Team Solo saw her take them off, and they were like, "Rachel, did you put your shoes on like that? You didn't put them all the way on." She's like, "No, I just did that to take them off." And she lied straight to my face. That's not just cheating, that's lying. So another thing I have to bring up, in the blindfolded challenge, At one point, Amir goes for Kylo Ren, can't see anything. All of a sudden, grabs him straight for the head and runs back. Could you see?
I could see. But listen, give me a chance to defend myself. Okay?
You snatched the challenge.
Oh, I was gonna say, so you're mad at me and not the cheater.
Listen, guys.
Got it,
This is
Ryan.
about- I wanna
Got
make
it,
clear,
Ryan.
This isn't about you.
I want to make it clear. The other team had the obligation to blindfold us.
That is
okay?
true.
To my defense, I didn't move with blindfold to a point where I could see. Caitlin blindfolded me to where I could see a little sliver under if I look down, just a little bit. So until I got to behind Ryan, I was listening to Caitlin's instructions on that individual Kylo Ren part. I got to Ryan, and under my eye, I could see that kind of.
You
Okay.
did pass
So-
the punch check.
Yeah, I know. I
so-
cannot
Yeah.
believe I went full throttle and almost punched this
Well,
guy.
Because
He-
it was just a little
Yeah, I was
bottom.
about to
couldn't see
say.
anything in front of me.
That's usually what happens with blindfolds.
Ryan, did you want to say something?
You don't think you had the sportsmanship to admit that, like, you can visibly see
I wouldn't say.
No,
I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
That's
No
my
chance.
only issue about
No.
this
If-
is that
If,
you
if
don't.
we would have
Whatever I could do to
us,
get my team to win, I
if
would.
it would have been us and I would have been grabbing that, I would have
Machiavelli,
said shit.
like-
And to be fair, Rachel did lie to me. I never directly asked everyone, can you see or not? It was the punch test, and they didn't flinch. So
That's just.
I'm definitely not defending any of the later found out cheating because at the time I didn't know. I was just like, we won. But I
I
don't.
thought you wanted to go to shed that
Oh,
night.
I wanted. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because me and Kale were trying to be controversial, and I thought Kale and I were on the same
I wanted
page.
you.
Later found out we weren't, so thank God we did it. But anyway, I don't think that Solus. I guess sportsmanship, but I don't think it's fair to be oh, we would have all said something. You know what I mean? I'm not defending it, and I wouldn't have done it probably because I'm just
built it.
a nice
Yeah.
I just feel bad about stuff like that, but I can't say that Solus was the most what's the word?
Yeah, they talk.
Honorable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they are the most honorable group of people.
And I think why Solus had a problem with Amir and Nick and the people from the other team was after the challenges were over, as you were walking to your rooms, you would talk smack to each other, which is when the cameras would cut off. So he couldn't get any of it. But Kale?
Yeah, Solus would talk a lot of crap in the camera like Olivia.
agree.
And the final, when the last
was
challenge
nice
before he
that
merged,
Olivia.
the blindfolded challenge, the hemorrhoids, that was a little deep, talking like F
That was
you.
dope.
That's.
It
I
was
wanted to throw that
nice,
challenge.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Everyone
It
comment
was
down in
funny,
the
it
chats
was
if
great.
you would have rather me stay silent or be
Oh
funny.
no, I'm glad you did. But just saying.
It was pretty funny, but
So now that you've seen every episode, you've seen everyone's confessionals, is anyone surprised by how people were playing the game harder than they thought they actually were? They were meaner than they thought? Anything
Yes.
like that?
Yeah, do you want a hand raise or do
Sure,
you want...
you raise your hand first, Olivia.
Yeah, so one person in particular, her name is, it rhymes with Maitland Modier. Wow. Okay, so I admit, watching back my own confessionals, I cringed so hard when Caitlin's confessional is Olivia's stupid, fat, ugly, stinky, terrible. I wrote in my application that I wanted to kick her in the face. And then I say, oh my God, Caitlin is so sweet. I genuinely trust her for this episode. It really is the one thing in this game that I had no, I said it to you, I said it to you. I never said it to Nick. Maybe I said it to Kale, I don't know. I have been saying, Caitlin is a loose cannon, Caitlin is a loose cannon. But it was never, I didn't know the extent of it at all. So I do applaud you for that. Because when I did vote for you, I was literally I don't want to vote for either one of these two people. You were the only person in this game who ever wrote my name down, and I literally was why? We are friends. So yeah, I do appreciate that.
Amir, I know you and Caitlin had a feud on the show and off the show. Do you respect her game more now that you've seen
I
it?
do a little bit more, but I still think I deserve to win.
Caitlin, do you respect Amir's game? Or okay.
No, I think
Unbelievable.
no. I'm not gonna. He got to second place. That was his thing. But I don't think he deserved to win over me. But we don't need to go into a tangent about it.
Jordan.
So looking back on the first few episodes, I also cringed because I was I'm such a dumb idiot. The first major betrayal was Kale.
Yeah.
When I tell you from episode 1, I was telling Olivia, when we would see each other at challenges, I was Kale, I don't know if you guys know this, but this was our signal.
No, babe, it was this.
No, they went like this.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
no,
you and Kale.
No.
You and
was
me
it,
had
this was it,
this,
this was
girl.
it, this
I
was
was going
it.
to say,
Okay,
who
wait,
else
edit that out.
Who else are you touching your
Edit
face
that
for?
out. Anyway, this was our signal, and like at challenges, I would be like, Kale, like, and so obviously I was really betrayed when he got Rachel out, and I look back and I think that Kale is a brilliant evil genius, but I think that it's so crazy to watch back and be like I'm trying not to curse. Holy
Cow.
cow. Holy cow, like Kale was playing me, Caitlyn was playing me. Even the craziest part to me was that the amount of times that my name came up to be voted out, and I was like, no, like Kale's my best friend. Caitlyn's my best friend in the game, like no.
Similarly, I can't believe how dumb I was. I'm sorry to curse. I'm really sorry, but I was so dumb. Like, why did I run on this platform of like trying to be friends with people and trying to be sad and stuff and just like garnering? I felt so pitiful for myself, and I was just like, dang, I could have really just sent her home like she was playing me,
Yeah.
and I would have went further. Who knows how I could be in this like final 2 spot for all I know. Bunk Amir, I'm here. And so I'm just saying, like, I was just like blown over the fact of that. And also, Kale, you're pretty good.
Thank you.
Calculating that guy. I love him.
Mine too. Oh, I was gonna just say something about Jordan. Like, if it was just you in the game and not like Rachel or Olivia, I would have definitely worked with you. And then once we got merged, and once it was, that's why I wanted like Solus. None of these 3 people I wanted out in Solus. I definitely wanted Kaylin or Olivia out just because you told me you got a Final 4 with Rachel, Jordan, Caitlin, and Olivia. So
Well,
I'm like,
there was my mistake.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Well, okay. Honestly, the craziest part to me though was like, so when they were voting Rachel off, I had an idea that Rachel was maybe going home because Caitlin told me like, hey, I may vote with the boys and get Rachel out. And I thought to myself, and she was like, I think she said, you said something about like, don't tell Olivia.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I guess I won't tell Olivia because I want Caitlin to know like, that we're like I trust her or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that if Rachel was gone, then she would definitely like band with me, Olivia, and Kale, who I thought obviously so stupid.
All I have to say is this show sucks. I hated every single second of it, and I don't want to be here for the last question. I want to leave on my own terms, so I'm leaving now. Follow, especially Ryan.
All right, so my last question, something else I noticed. Where did the Amir and Jordan romance storyline come from?
Gabby.
I was in the middle of a question.
Gabby.
You make me this cake.
Thank you, Gavin.
I can't put that in the episode. Where did the Jordan and Amir romance storyline come from? When Jordan got voted off, she said she was in love. Amir asked if Jordan wanted to
I thought
kiss
you were
him.
gonna put a lot more stuff on camera about this debacle.
I've gotten a lot of questions about it.
Did your grandma ask you anything about it?
No.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna get emotional. I'm trying to think of what to say. Amir from day one, as much as I painted him to be my worst enemy, he really was someone who immediately took my breath away.
Nah, you gotta stop. Nah,
I just want to ask my team members why they assumed why I would not be playing the game strategically.
Dude,
one by
you
one, please.
literally-
One by one, please.
I'll start.
You literally, no, I think we should just end this like nail in the f***ing coffin. You literally talked about how in one of your confessionals, you literally talked about how you had like a ghost poop or whatever.
that's a confession. No one saw that.
I was.
But
I was
he
gonna
told
play-
us in the room, I'm gonna go take a poop.
Oh.
And I was just like, this
Yeah.
man,
That
You can't poop.
I would have held mine in.
Is you not poop?
No.
They can't know
I
you're
don't.
I
Turns out there are some weirdos.
Yeah, well, there's a dude over here.
Also, I want to say Miguel was targeted because he was a straight white male. He is not white. Let's just get that out there.
Another reason.
I regret voting Miguel out. At the time, it felt most natural, you know, just because, like, the girls and gays, like, I don't know, it was just, like, a quick thing, and we were all just like, okay, it's easy, let's do it, it's the first day. But for me personally, obviously, Ryan wrote my name down, so I think if we would have either voted Ryan out the first day or talked more than we did and voted someone else out, I think that Miguel and I and probably Caitlin would have worked together a little bit more and maybe gotten Olivia out. So that added to the list of the what if I would have done that differently. So.
You're just mad because my vote mattered.
I have a question.
I am.
I have a question for everybody. If, say, like how we were talking about earlier, about how everybody wanted Olivia to win from the start. I get that she has a big personality. She's likable. But why would y'all not want to get the big personality out first? Like I'd much rather have somebody, not to say like Nick isn't a great person, but Nick has more of a quiet personality. I'd rather have him in the game more than Olivia. I don't get why y'all wouldn't want to vote her.
Yeah.
Well,
the big personality,
like that just doesn't make sense.
Everyone wanted to go to the end with Nick, I feel like. A lot of the people
Yeah.
in the merge wanted to go to the end with Nick because they thought they could beat Nick.
Speaking of Nick, apparently some of you have gotten sort of famous from being on this show. People are recognizing you in public. Nick,
Yeah.
what happened?
I was at work and people were like, "Hey, I have a question." I was like, "What?" And then they were like, "Are you on the YouTube thing?" And at first I thought they meant TikTok because of the work TikTok, but then they're like, "No, are you on Home Alone?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then then they tried to ask me who won. And I was like, "I don't know, like I can't tell you." So
Did you know who they were?
I have no idea.
Caitlin and Amir.
Yeah.
You two despised each other the entire time. You were always talking trash down to the final two.
Yeah.
But I feel like you two have a bond.
Yeah, they definitely do.
I have a question.
I would go with no and then.
No, we don't
No, I think.
Me and Karen only bond here.
I want to know what is the beef between y'all two. Like, why do you like actually? It
Because
seems
no
personal.
one sees what I see.
Amir's just
No one thinks
No
I
one
think.
sees the negative.
Amir's
That's
stubborn
not what I
and
said.
Caitlin is right.
That's not what I said.
That is how it is.
That's not what I said.
It
Okay.
seems really personal.
Listen,
All right, let's let Amir talk.
It's part saltiness and it's part nobody seeing what I saw. Okay. What was it, episode 6 or 7, where I was outside talking about her bullshit while she was crying? 7. No one saw that. Olivia goes outside in a confession like, "Oh my god, I feel so bad. I love Caitlin. She's so nice. Everybody voted her most nicest." I mean, yeah, she's nice, but she's playing a game. She's playing a game. Like outside of person, I genuinely believe you're a nice person. But in the game, I think that was fake.
Don't talk about other women like that.
You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down.
The sexual.
Out of pocket. You're so out of pocket for 9 episodes.
The way that everyone on the
Singing.
couch wants to kiss each other,
Listen.
and I'm just here.
And the other part, which was the saltiness, was that no matter who was in jury, no matter who was in the other chair, if it was in Caitlin, if it was anybody else on the show, with me, I would have lost.
Do you think that's your
Besides
fault?
maybe Nick.
you
No,
think-
I think that's because of previous relationships before the show.
Okay.
I
My
would like
salt-
to say, yeah.
I would have
My saltiness, you asked about the real beef. I think it was that off camera, after everything was over, there was no hard feelings, no matter what. He was always trying to undermine my win, saying, "Oh, I deserved it more, da-da-da-da-da." And if you sit in a position saying, "Oh my gosh, if every single person I sit on that chair next to would vote, I would lose to," maybe that's your own fault because you're being a douche all of the time. I went in knowing barely, like, I haven't talked to y'all in forever. You went to Haynes with them.
Okay,
for,
you're coming in
I was in your
with
friend
a
group.
with a
okay, you still didn't
normal
vote for
rep?
me. What's the point?
I'm just saying, like, you
Like
can't say
that-
that you don't know anybody, but like, I literally
Yeah.
hung out with
Okay,
people.
and
Wait,
you
so
still
when did you
didn't
leave?
vote.
8th grade? 9th? You left?
I
You
haven't been to
right
school
when we
with
entered
Caitlin
the-
since
You have
2015.
Yeah, since
Right.
2015. It's been 5 years, and the only person I knew well was Miguel, and he left first, and he didn't even vote for me, so it obviously wasn't past relationship. But you had Kale locked in under your finger the entire time.
It's not.
Anyway,
You were talking
I
about.
came into with a negative rep. I already came into the show with a negative
that's
rep.
not true.
I would
Oh,
like to
okay.
clarify that.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to clarify when we were in Gavin's
We all went to
kitchen,
Amir off.
waiting for the 10th person to arrive, and it was revealed that it was Amir. I did call you sexy, so I don't want to.
No,
hear
but I
any
do.
other-
That doesn't matter. No.
It was I honestly I do feel like in the conversation of who was the real underdog, obviously yeah, Caitlin didn't go to school with us, but she did have the reputation. If I hadn't watched the show back, I would think Caitlin was everyone's best friend. You know what I mean? Like I would have thought she was genuinely she genuinely had like this. Obviously everyone loves Caitlin, but I think it was. But that's the thing is everyone loves Caitlin. Is like everyone actually did hate Amir. So I do think that like from the beginning, it was like, okay, Amir's going home, and he never went home because, like, whether he was riding on Kale's back or whatever, like, he still made it to the point that he did. So I don't, and I'm not taking away Caitlin's went away from her because, like, she ate us all up, like, watching it back, like, she did her thing. But I'm saying, like, I don't ever think that you were, like, this player that was ever at the bottom, or like even when it was me, Olivia, and Amir, and it was you were never gonna go home.
I don't think you were
Unless
at the
I
bottom.
would've-
I don't think you were at the bottom. I don't think you were necessarily at the top though either. You were like sort of somewhere in the middle. Because like you had,
Definitely
I was
weren't an underdog.
when I heard that you were coming, I was glad because I wanted the boys. Because I haven't talked to Kale since we were basketball together in middle school.
Yeah.
I barely know Ryan. I only follow him on Instagram. And Nick, we like knew each other, but we didn't really like hang out.
Yeah.
That's it.
For me, I would say past relationships could have helped and hurt a lot of people. Like, I would say for Olivia, since I knew she knew the game, she was a bigger target. And that I barely talked to Caitlin, so I was like, okay. And I can even say in episode like 4 or 5, I said I'm surprised by her because I was like, okay, it's just another person. I didn't know she was that good at the game. And then I already knew Olivia was, so she became the bigger target. So I think they go hand in hand with both.
So, speaking of past relationships, do you want to be on Home Alone? You can fill out the application in the description now to be on season 2. We're looking for a more diverse crowd so that you don't have past relationships. It will be more contestants, more drama, more twists. Season 2 coming soon. Fill out the application if you want to be on. Congratulations again to Caitlin for winning Home Alone. Thank you for my cookie cake.
Yeah. And here's what we're doing next season.
Kevin, can I say one thing before? All I gotta say is, you could say Olivia played the best game. Miguel, Ryan, Julia, me, Nick, Jordan, but you could say one thing. Caitlin played the best game this time because she won. You could say, Olivia might be the best player, but the best player was Caitlin, and that's what no one can
Period.
no one can deny that.
Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
That was well.
Dab on him.